Well, good evening. Happy full moon, and thank you for tuning in to Walking Between the Worlds. This is Raven Dana, and it is class 2 of our fall series. So, I hope you're settled in, and I hope that you have some plans coming up for the equinox, which is in a few days. Today's little class is going to be about holding on and letting go, and how our energy, when we hold on and let go in a way that's balanced, works for us, leads us towards what we desire and away from the things that we don't want. So let's just think about that at the very beginning of our lives, holding on and letting go. We automatically have a pretty good idea about holding on and letting go as we learn to grasp things and let them go, as we learn to walk, especially. Mother Nature, our mother, the earth, is a very good teacher about holding on and letting go, right? When we first start walking and we pull ourselves up and we hold on and then let go, take a step or two. Sometimes we reach out and hold on again when we need to. Sometimes we let go a little too soon and we fall down and then pull ourselves up again. And eventually we reach that point where we only really need to hold on to get ourselves started, and then we let go and we discover we can walk, that falling forward motion has a rhythm and a balance to it, that once we get it, much like later in life when we think about riding a bicycle, once we get it, it's there. Not that we don't make mistakes, we do, we fall down, but again, the earth is a really good teacher. When we hold on well, she holds us up. When we let go well, she guides us. When, however, we let go when we need to hold on, or hold on when we need to let go, then things go a little askew, right? So let's look at that in terms of energetics, what we do with holding on and letting go in our lives. When something is outgrown, when something we keep around, or a job or a person or a relationship, if we keep things around that we have outgrown, that have outlasted their positivity in our lives, it drags us down, right? It becomes a block to our energy. But I want you to think about it this way. I want you to consider that sometimes the reason we end up holding on to things is not because we want them or because we think that they're still useful, but because they're familiar. And the familiar, right, has an appeal, because even though it might not be pleasant, it is familiar. We know how this works. We know what this person says. We know how this job goes. And we're afraid to change because we don't know. We sell ourselves a story that if we let this thing go, that what if something worse comes in? And again, that is conditioning. That is the way we're taught to think. It's not our natural way of being. If we know how to hold on and let go, when we let go of what's not working and we're clear, I'm letting go because this is not working. Now we're opening ourselves energetically for something better, something that will work, something that we desire to come in. And the thing I want you to know about that is this is how we learn to trust ourselves, right? If we then find ourselves in a situation that is familiar and like the last one, and we don't like that either, what we learn is to let go more quickly. Instead of holding on to something for 10 years or 5 years or 2 years, maybe we only hold on for 2 weeks and we say, oh yeah, this was a mistake, I'm going to move along. And again, whether we're talking about a job or a relationship or anything else in your life that you may be holding on to, the pattern is the same, that we teach ourselves to trust our own nature by how well we hold on and how well we let go. So when we take a look at that letting go process and the fear around it, I want you to get that there's a downside to what we do around holding on. That sometimes we don't hold on to the things that have meaning for us. We take them for granted. We set them aside because we have an assumption that this thing, whatever it is, or this relationship, this person, is always going to be there. So rather than nurturing it, rather than giving it our time and attention, right, we let it go rather than holding on. And I don't mean holding on in a clutching, needing kind of way. I mean holding on in a way of attentiveness, of energy, of attention, right? When you come away from something or someone or a situation feeling good, feeling energized, feeling happy, feeling calm, now that's something you want to lean into a little bit. You want to give that some time and attention. You want to give those people some kudos and some love, right? And again, the opposite of that is when you walk away from a situation and you're exhausted, and you come home and you need to sleep, or you come home and you're cranky because, you just had this day back in that same old. So listen to yourself, because we teach others by what we put up with, how to deal with us, how to treat us. If we don't take care of ourselves, if we don't say no when we mean no, and if we don't take care of the things that please and pleasure us, then those around us very quickly, without us explaining it or saying anything at all, those around us immediately get the message that they can push our boundaries, or that they don't have to be particularly kind because we're not all that kind to ourselves. So I'm going to invite you that here, as we move towards the equinox and the dark time of the year and the time for introspection and for clearing out and cleaning up a little bit of our relationship with our own shadow side, right? That one of the things that you may consider is really putting on paper what you want to devote more energy to growing, to appreciating, to enjoying, to giving time and effort to, and what you want to withdraw your energy from, what you want to literally let go of it, even if that means replacing it, quitting something, walking away, whatever that may look like. So put it to paper. And if you need a friend, if you need somebody to talk to, I bet there's somebody in your life. Now don't go to the birds of a feather person that's going to say, oh no, you should hold on to those things. You don't know. If you let that go, you might get something worse. That's not the person you want to talk to. You want to talk to the person that has a good track record with letting go of things that don't work and opening to situations that do. So think of the people in your life who are good at that. Think of the people in your life who have left behind patterns, habits, jobs, people, who have left behind circumstances, who have left behind places where they lived that didn't work for them, and stepped into something new and better and more pleasing and more pleasurable and satisfying. Those are the people you want to talk to, because that's where you're going to get not only encouragement, but also they will hold the energetic space for you. And that's something we don't often think about, that the people that we associate with either hold space for us or they don't. And if you want something particular, if you wanted your plumbing done, you wouldn't go to a gardener and ask them to do it, right? And yet we find that if we're looking for, say, relationship advice, we might go to the person that's had 4 failed relationships in a row and talk to them. Well, that's not what we want. We want to talk to the person that knows how to navigate relationships, someone that knows how to communicate, right? If you want your plumbing done, you hire a plumber. So we don't think that way. Typically, we go to the go-to person, and often with the same results, and those results are not what we want. So again, what we call into our lives has everything to do with what we put our attention on, what we find important, and what we repetitively find ourselves thinking about and generating emotions over. So if you say to yourself, even very clearly as possible, I want X, I want this circumstance, or I would like this kind of job, but you spend a lot of your time ruminating, disliking, pouring yourself into the dislike of whatever you currently have, well, guess what? That is the spiral of energy. That is the boomerang that you're throwing into the universe. So hello, what you devote your energy to, right, creates more of itself. It goes out, spins through the universe, gathering momentum, and then comes wildly rocketing back to you. So again, I'm not saying like every bad thing that happens is your fault. I'm saying you are a responsible player in the way things work out. And you have more influence than you have been told that you have. So this conversation about holding on and letting go is really useful. It's something that you can consider a couple of times a day. Am I holding on to this useless thing? You know, it can be as small as, am I putting things in this drawer because I put them in here for 10 years and it's inconvenient and it's in the wrong place and I don't like it, but I'm going to do it anyway? You would be surprised at how many times making those small incremental adjustments to your physical surroundings to make things clearer, easier, cleaner, more satisfying, impact your thinking in other areas. So don't feel like you have to pole vault over the wall you've built around some big issue. Start small. Start with whatever's in your environment that you're tolerating, that you're doing over and over again, that you're holding on to, that's not working. Could be very simple. Okay. Again, equinox is coming in just a few days. So I'd like you to think about that, the harvest time that's coming, the ability to gather to us those things that we've planted, the plants, the emotional and mental and spiritual energies that we have released during the year that are now growing and returning to us. So what is your return at this time of year? What is coming back to you at this time of year? Think about that a little bit. What did you put in place that's working for you and returning to you? And the harvest, of course, is a great time to use whatever's in your environment to symbolize that return. So whether you like to bake or you like to decorate or you like to, I don't know, go put pumpkins on your front stoop, whatever that is that gives you pleasure, that connects you to the living, breathing earth at this time where harvest is coming, harvest is upon us. Anything that helps you to connect, to feel that abundance around you is valuable and important because it lends itself toward the energy, toward the expectation of good things coming your way. And that's what we want to live into. When we have an expectation of good things coming our way, then our deep mind actually filters for those experiences. Oh, good things come my way. And you might have this tiny little urge to walk into a store, and because you think good things come my way, you follow that little urge and walk in and find something there that maybe you've been looking for a year, and there it is. So it's not a coincidence. It's because there's a hidden order of things, right? In the world behind the world, in the realm that we don't see or actually even pay attention to half the time, even when we can see some of the memos. In that world behind the world, there's a tremendous amount of activity that occurs constantly that folds itself in and out of realities that like origami, right? That appear and disappear seamlessly, that make us think that, oh, look at this, here's another coincidence. Well, all a coincidence is a hidden pattern. That's all it is. It's something that has been set into place that we can't readily discern. It doesn't mean that it's not as mysterious as we make it out to be, okay? It's not just a happenstance. A meaningful coincidence has meaning, that there is something operating in the background that we may not be, and that often we are not aware of. But you can lend yourself to that, right? Because again, I want to impress upon you today that which you put your attention on grows. So I'm suggesting to you for this week, with the full moon today, not only a full moon, but a full moon in Pisces and it's a partial eclipse. So we have some energy that's chaotic. You don't particularly want to go down the rabbit hole or get on the crazy train, get yourself hooked over something. You might find yourself a little more sensitive or a little more triggery than usual. So see if you can just take a step back, take a few breaths, and again, you can practice letting go if something or somebody gets under your skin here. And to take a look at what you can create, what you can lean into. Again, full moon in Pisces. Dream big. Think about your dreams. Daydream. Dream into the future. Dream into the fall. Dream into what you want, what life you are creating. And it doesn't matter if you know how to get something to happen or not. That's not the point. The point is that the more thorough you are with your imagination, in other words, the more detailed the images and the more intense the emotions, the more creative process is involved. The farther and harder that boomerang gets thrown out into the universe, gathering to itself the components that you are imagining and bringing them back into your life in a way where they will be presented, so that you can, again, you'll have the opportunity to acknowledge and grab that boomerang when it comes back, rather than just watch it whiz by and then ignore it. And it's all about state of mind. It's where is your energy? Where is that energy? Is your mental, spiritual, psychic, emotional energy grounded? Or are you scattered in the things that you don't like and don't want, things that get under your skin, things that keep you out of the moment? All right. So one of your practices, please, this week is to practice hands to the earth, hands in the water, hands to the food, to allow yourself to physically and sensually be grounded in your experience. To go lay on the ground, to go dig in the dirt. It's a great time of year to do some gardening. If gardening's not your bag, fine. Make some cookies, bake some bread, put on a big pot of soup or stew and invite some people over. Go to an orchard and gather some apples. Do something that you've never done before. Think about what the harvest means to you, not just as a time of year and the changing of seasons, which is important, but also that at this time of year, as the season is changing, that you can lean into that energy and look at what you are harvesting for yourself in your own life, and to see what needs to be buried, right? What needs to be turned over and sunk down into the earth to nourish the next things to come. So let yourself play with that, be with that, enjoy that. So happy full moon to you. I'm so glad that we're approaching the equinox, and the holding on and letting go is your mission for the week, to keep looking at that. How do I hold on and how do I let go? And where does that work for me and where does it not work for me? So again, please, hands to the earth, hands to the water, hands to dough or whatever it is that you're making, or art if you're an artist. This is a great week to make some art. And you don't have to be a fabulous artist. I don't care if you draw with a crayon, but to sit down and do something that represents your dreams, that represents what's calling to you, that represents your personal harvest. Okay. So that's what I would like you to play with this week. I hope you've enjoyed this little class, and I will be posting a meditation, guided meditation that goes with this material probably tomorrow. So it'll be there for you before the equinox. And as always, if you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, if you have any requests, you know where to find me. You can post something, or you can send me an email, or you can find me on my page on my ravendana.com. It doesn't get easier than that to find my website. By the way, there is now a link on my website. A number of years ago, I wrote a book called The Book of How, and it really was written for my clients, and it's about kind of how to read your own mind, right? It's about how we get wired the way we get wired. And I'm just put it up there for free. So if you're interested in reading something like that about your own wiring and how patterns and filters and habits form and what to do about them, that if you go to my website, ravendana.com, you can click through the link and you can find the link where you'll send me an email and I will send you the ebook for free. So again, it's my gift to you. I hope you have a marvelous week. Happy full moon, happy equinox to you, and thank you so much for tuning in to me, Raven Dana, here at Walking Between the Worlds. Bye now, and I will see you next time.